I think the older we get, the more we realize that, life isn't a dress rehearsal. And
Mhm.
it was interesting because it wasn't at my 50th that I realized that I had lived more to date than I will live in the future.
Hello there, and welcome to Wild and Finally Fucking Free, where midlife isn't a time of crisis, but a time of metamorphosis. Just like the journey through puberty and pregnancy to postpartum, our midlife transition is also a powerful portal of rebirth. The wise woman inside of us is calling, inviting us to slow down, to take stock, to speak our truth, to burn away all that no longer serves us, ready to step forward into our next phase of life. I'm your host, Kylie Patchett, storyteller and midlife self-care coach, and together we'll unearth the real and raw stories of women who are right in the messy, magical middle, or have come out the other side, and the healers who help all of us through these crossroads of change. I hope that as you listen to these tales of breaking the ties that bind, shedding skins, and courageously chasing midlife dreams, that you too will answer the wise woman's invitation and set yourself wild and finally fucking free. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I have only our second repeat guest, Sandy Davies, in the house. Hello, Sandy. How are you?
Oh, good morning. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks, Kylie.
Your energy is infectious. I'm just like, oh, Sandy's next. I'm doing my little clap, clap, clap with my hands. So good, so good. Now, last time you were on the show, we dived into so many different things, but we did not touch on a couple of the biggies that we wanted to. So I've invited you back because there is more to reveal. Now, would you like to just share a little bit about yourself, whatever you're called to share? To introduce yourself to our listeners if they haven't listened to episode 1. I must link that down below, actually.
Yeah, well, g'day everyone. I'm Sandy Davies. I'm coming to you from Googieallenty country up in the Daintree. And yeah, I hope you go back and listen to that first episode because we talked about so much about menopause and just embracing that era and being open about your symptoms and finding solutions because there are always solutions. But we've kind of, I guess, as we've come back to this second one, I've kind of had some changes.
You have.
Yeah. I've pressed pause on Happy Pause.
You have pressed pause on Happy Pause. So in our last episode, we talked about your amazing product, which originated basically from one of your symptoms, which was vulval dryness, vaginal dryness, and issues with just feeling, that you needed some support in the intimate area and then not finding anything out there. So then you created this amazing product, talked about that last time, and then when we booked this in, you're like, some changes have been afoot. So do you want to update us?
Yeah, well, I suppose, in my perfect fantasy world, I always thought that there would be a micropharma out there that I would just somehow magically connect with. And they'd say, we want to make Happy Paws our project. And that didn't happen. And I was juggling a few things with long COVID and just really severe exhaustion. And I reached a point where, I'm such a hypocrite because I always say, find that quiet stillness and tune into yourself and you will connect with the universe. Well, I wasn't. The universe was bloody screaming at me. Girl, will you just stop?
Let it go, let it go, let it go. Yes. Oh my goodness. I'm relating hard because yes, I also do often say, get quiet, listen to the wise woman within. And I'm like, when do you do that, my friend? Oh dear.
Yeah, so I love my pause and I know that it is the right thing for me. And when I look back, I think I kind of had a little bit of pride things around Happy Pause and that one of the biggest reasons I wanted it to become this huge success that I could talk about ad infinitum into the future was because I wanted everyone to know that you can have a go.
Yes.
Take a little idea and you can make it big and you can make it work. And I didn't get it to the level of profitability with the amount of time I was willing to invest in this chapter in life. But, looking back now, I still think I'm still the same in the sense of whatever it is you're dreaming of, whatever it is you think you need to do, whether it's making a difference, travel, doesn't matter what it is, you've got to have a leap and you got to have a go.
Yeah. Amen. And do you know what? I don't think that the success of the leap is in the result anyway. I think the success of the leap is in learning to trust yourself no matter what happens with the result. And I think we've connected those two things together. And it's like, oh, well, I've had to do X, therefore that's a failure. And it's like, nope, no, it's not. You've learned a lot. And also, excuse me, you've actually given yourself, like I would say there is many, many people, and probably people listening, that are still doing stuff that they know damn well that they need to let go of, but they're too afraid to let go. So I want to honor that, because far out, man, if we just let go of some of the things we know, imagine how much more space. Who knows what magic Sandy is designed to be delivering next, or, you know, actually enjoying next rather than necessarily outward, you know, who knows what's in store. But I do feel like we need to disconnect the leap success to the result of the thing that we're trying to do.
100%. And you know, you have to not let the universe get to the point where it's shrieking at you, because you can miss that whole point of what was supposed to be next, and what was that magnetic thing that you're destined for.
Yeah.
But you're so right too about the power being in the leap. Like back when I was a teenager, I was a springboard diver.
Oh,
do you know,
I did not know that.
One of those little secrets, I guess, that never comes out. Well, I loved springboard diving, but you know, the best bit for me of the dive wasn't when you pierce the water. And it wasn't whatever gymnastics you were doing in the length of the dive, depending on the height of the springboard. It was the flop, flop, flop of the board once your feet left.
That's so cool. Because I imagine there's a big difference between nailing that feeling, like getting that precise sound and bounce and all of the things that need to collide to make that one perfect moment, versus when you really fudge it, right? Like I'm imagining there's a big difference between those two. I'm also in my head imagining, because I am the world's most uncoordinated person. So I'm imagining me trying springboard, probably face planting on the end of the board. Not my sport.
No. You know, and that's actually truly one of those things too, I guess, that ties it all up into what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because anybody can leap off a springboard. You know, if you're not sure about being able to do the dive and you're afraid you're going to face plant, just jump.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You don't have to dive. Like, so it's one of those things, whatever it is, if you have something burning and yearning so much that you know you've got to do it, you don't have to do it with the finesse of perfection. You know what I mean?
Amen.
You can just jump. And when you jump, you still get that same beautiful bump, 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 bump of the board as when you do a whatever 10.0 score. And
this is all threading together in a hidden fact about Sandy I was not aware of. I love this, because so if we were not to strive for perfection, doesn't that make it much easier just to listen to the internal voice before it screams? And actually, I want to reflect back to you something. When you're saying the universe is screaming, you know, it's getting louder and louder. Like I just said before, I'm sure there's people that have been in that position and still are not listening, because it feels really scary to say that's actually not what I want anymore. Because I also think we've been sold this bullshit myth that says, you know, one and done. And it's like, what? Like, no, like not one and done. And especially people like, I don't know if you're the same, but I need to do something to know whether it's right or not for me. I cannot just cerebrally think about it. And because I'm an internal optimist, I just think everything I think about is going to be amazing. And then I do it and I'm like, this sucks. I don't like it at all. But I think, it's the trying out. I don't know. It's like the nibbling on the smorgasbord of life that you figure out the yeses and the nos, right? So pausing happy pause doesn't necessarily mean there's not something else that, like the nudge. I don't know. What's that?
Yeah. Well, and you know, the whole this sucks thing, isn't it 100 gajillion times better to go, oh yeah, this sucks next, than to be fast forward like 10 years from now and be sitting on the front porch going, oh,
I wish.
I wish. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
screw, I wish. It doesn't matter
Mm.
what it is. And it doesn't matter whether it's a work thing, whether it's a life thing,
Yeah.
whether it's a new location, it doesn't matter. Leave everything else behind for the what if and the possibility.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I have lived my entire life like that, and I have made myself wrong for not being, I'm air quoting myself if you're not watching the video, not sticking at anything. I have literally had that story about myself. If I could just stick to something, I would blah, 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 right?
Mm.
Now, and this is the gift of menopause, I reckon, for me, I have totally reframed that too. I just cannot tolerate things that are not good for me. And so I will try and shift way quicker than most people will because I cannot tolerate it. And that's actually a good thing. It's how I was designed, so I can't help it anyway. But I think too many of us sit in situations that are uncomfortable, wondering what if.
Yes.
And yeah, I once said in an interview, like, I want to be like, 90 and still screaming down, the slippery slide with my, my skirt up above my head. Like it's like I want to squeeze the juice out of this life. And if that means that I make, 100 different pivots, so be it. Like I don't really care. Sorry, everyone who's visual, for me with my skirt above my head. I wanted to talk to you, Sandy, about something we didn't touch on so much in our last interview, because I know that you made a big change with your husband. You moved up to far north Queensland, and that was, I don't know, if I'm remembering correctly, it was something that you'd kind of had in the we want to do it one day, but then things changed and you were just like, hang on a minute, I think this might be something that we do sooner than one day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so we had an adventure business on Fraser Island on Kagari, and we loved what we did. Like we introduced people to memories of a lifetime on a World Heritage listed area. So it was amazing. It was a great ride, but it was also an exhausting ride.
Yeah.
Because it was 365 days a week, and it was getting up like 4:30, 5 in the morning, and sometimes still sorting out dramas, issues, or problems, or trips to the bus stop with customers or something at like 9 o'clock at night. And you just kind of throw in raising your family in amongst all of that. So it was a full juggle, and we had so many balls in the air. And we kind of kept thinking, we've got to find a better way.
Yeah.
But then it was always, we've got to find a better way, like in the future. And then we came on a holiday with my mum and our youngest daughter.
Yes.
And we snuck across to the beach for a morning coffee with the sunrise. And my husband was sat there and just kind of flicked the sand and said, this is what I immigrated to Australia for.
Hey gorgeous, we interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you'll get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliepatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode.
Oh, and something just snapped in me.
Mm-hmm.
And within 3 months, I suppose, we had our block of land. Took us another 18 months to sell our business and get all the plans approved, get everything in place. So it took a long time to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it was the moment of deciding, yeah, if not now, then when?
Yes.
And I tell you what, like, we jokingly, when we decided to come up, we said we were checking out of the universe for a year. We were going to spend a year in that Zen thing of, building the house. And then we were maybe going to work part-time and then go back to the big world.
Mm-hmm.
15 years later, we're still working part-time and just, and it really did change everything for us, in the sense that we almost kind of turn a deaf ear towards tourists now, because tourists so often say, oh, you're so lucky. Oh, it must be nice to have the life you have up here. And they have this yearning wistfulness. No, screw that.
Yeah.
If you think someone else is lucky, then make that same luck for yourself with whatever it is.
I chose this. Yep. Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I have had someone just recently go, oh, it must be so nice for you with your little simple country life. And I'm like, dude, no shade on me. I chose this again and again and again. And now when I go back to a city, I'm like, I just, it makes me bajiggity. It's nice to visit. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm home. But yeah, same thing. Don't be sassing on me because I have a life different to yours. I chose this actively, consciously, step by step. And I think it sounds like similar to you guys, like we have always really valued how life feels, not how much stuff we have or where I've gotten to on the ladder, or what, like it's not our jam. So yeah, when I look around at my very simple life, we grow our own veggies and run a business that, from a little country town that meets people globally. Thank God for the internet. Thank you, universe. But, I just think, like, it's a choice and it's what you value. And we were just talking about, how people, we were talking about, post-COVID and people being cranky and in customer service and things. And one thing I said to you, which, it's my perspective, so it may not be everyone's opinion, but I just wonder whether we're getting less and less able to be nice because our lives feel more and more uncomfortable. And I mean that in the collective sense, obviously, not specific. But yeah, I think if you live a day in an air-conditioned car, going to an air-conditioned office, going to an air-conditioned bedroom, and you're never outside and you're under fluorescent lights and you've got your phone turned on at 10 o'clock at night in your face, and you're so far away from our natural cycles and rhythms, maybe that's why you're all pissed off all over the time. I don't know. It's not that simple. What do you think about
it? So yesterday I had 2 hours in the car.
Yeah.
And like normally anytime like that, the whole time during Happy Pause, it was always listening to midlife podcasts. And I was like, oh, I've got a little bit of freedom because this doesn't have to be beneficial to growing Happy Paws right now.
Yes.
I'm just going to do something out of the box. And I listened to a Rob Lowe podcast on my drive to visit someone in the hospital in Cairns. And he has this podcast called Literally, and he interviews people and just comes out with these most amazing hidden stories.
Yeah, yeah.
And I listened to his interview with Oprah.
Check it out. Yes.
Be careful though, because it's a little bit addictive and you'll end up down a rabbit hole. Totally forgotten how much I guess I crushed on Rob Lowe back in the day, like his Teen Beat poster on the wall and all the rest.
Yes, I know.
He's aged into this era so beautifully with the things he brings out in people. The conversation with Oprah was amazing.
Wow.
But the main bit that I took away that's relevant to what we're talking about is she talks about the role of gratitude in her life and her mornings and her non-negotiables in her mornings. And I thought, oh, I didn't realize that I consciously have those as a non-negotiable. And that's part of what contributes to my vibe. Yep. But she wakes up with a sense of thank you almost before her eyes open or with the moment of her eyes opening. And then she, after she takes her dog out, she sits in stillness with her coffee and with a candle. And sometimes it's about meditation and sometimes it's about just being. And I'm going, oh my God, we're sisters.
Yeah, I know. Twinsies.
And her big thing was that if she gives in to her phone or her iPad or her laptop, her day is ruined. And I was like, yes, like we have to remember to get back into that thing of celebrating us and celebrating our magic and just celebrating being. You know, it doesn't have to be completely zenning with the universe. It can be just sitting. And when you find that time to just sit and be still, you know, your intuition is sharper. Your drive to what is meant for you is sharper. And like, you know how you were saying you don't like to do things that don't necessarily align or drive you forward anymore. I love that Japanese principle of, is it Ikigai?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, Ikagai. I think it's Ikigai.
I'm not sure how you say it, but I know what you mean.
But you know, it's that thing of finding how to make what you do in the time that we have to spend being productive in a workplace perspective align with everything else we believe in. But having said that, I'm a hypocrite there as well, because I'm a huge believer in, if you were fed up, like if you're sat on the train every day commuting to work and you were going, I hate this shit.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has just taken a short contract, like Kimberly contracts in Western Australia. They are short, but they are good money. And my friend was really struggling with how much good they want to do and how much volunteering they want to do, but they still have to live and pay their rent. Their solution, they're doing hospo.
Yeah.
In their 50s, they are doing hospo, 90,000 a season.
Yeah, nice. A season?
Yes.
Jeez Louise.
And that is so much time then to come back into your home base and have the freedom of just being able to do good and not having to work in those off-season months when you're at home.
Yes.
And for them, that thing of being able to then be a part of charities that they're passionate about is, in an urban area, is life-changing.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That sounds amazing to me. And it's the same sort of thing as what you were just saying with the, I'm going to do something that isn't forwarding happy pause, when we can remove the kind of having to do something or feeling that we have to do something, like turn up at work every day for the next however many years. When you take that away, all of a sudden, all of this passion has space to kind of like pop to the surface and be like, right now, we're going to do, you know, we're going to do this with our freedom of time. That's very, very cool. I think.
All of a sudden, we're the flowering rose bush we always want to be. You know, not just that bud that doesn't quite blossom. And there's a bloke in Orange in New South Wales who's an amazing mental health advocate, Jamie Steadman. And I love Steado. He's just like F shoulds.
Yeah. Amen.
I love Steado's approach of just, you know, saying F shoulds and that thing of when we release those obligations. And I don't know, whenever you talk to someone that is at that point, you know, where the universe can't whisper and the universe is just shouting, there's always a million reasons why we can't listen. You know, we're too busy, or we have too many deadlines, or too many obligations, or pressures from the kids. But all of those things we can dial the volume down on.
Yeah.
And then we can actually
Mm.
turn the volume
Mm.
off and start a new chapter with new rules and definitions that give us the time and the stillness and the capacity to be.
I love this because, yes, I think that it is a slippery slope when we hit. I mean, I guess this is for me one of the blessings of the menopause transition is all of a sudden I didn't have enough energy to do all of the obligations. So it actually forced me to shed some, a lot of them. But I just feel like when you're so used to tuning into that channel, that obligation channel, it actually literally does take you going, oh, there's a volume control here or a mute button. Maybe
Mm.
I'm just going to turn my attention to other things. And sometimes that also means stopping the little daily habits that, contribute to that. So it's like, am I filling my head with more things that tell me that I'm obligated? And I don't know. For me, I don't watch the news because I just don't feel like it's helpful for my mental health or my awareness in everything,
Mm.
anything. I'd rather get my view of the world from rich conversations and lots of other sources that aren't, controlled. But yeah, I think turning down the volume on the obligations because would you agree? Did you feel more? Did you realize that you had so many obligations? Like if you look back at that business on Fraser Island, do you feel like you could have made the leap earlier if you'd tuned in a bit more? Because it sounds like you were very busy, like there was a lot of demand on your time.
Well, yes. I mean, yes, you can always do it sooner.
Mm, yes.
But then I guess for us, when I look back, I think, oh, the timing was just right. Like
Yeah.
everything aligned and we just drew a line in the sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you always can earlier.
Yeah.
And I think the older we get, the more we realize that, life isn't a dress rehearsal. And
Hmm.
it was interesting because it wasn't at my 50th that I realized that I had lived more to date than I will live in the future. It was actually on our 30th wedding anniversary.
Ah, interesting.
It didn't even occur to me on my 50th. I was still just, thinking about how I'm bulletproof and all the
Yeah,
rest.
yeah, yeah. That's
And
what
then
I feel
on
going
our
into my
30,
50s.
yeah. In some ways, like our 50s
Yeah.
are absolutely fantastic. But well, and on that, I guess, thing of, when we're feeling bulletproof in our 50s,
Hmm.
one of the other things that I guess sometimes really impacts both Harry and I because we've moved to a tourism destination. So
Yes.
we see tourists all the time.
Yes.
Is so many of the cruise ship tourists leave us feeling sad
Oh.
because there are so many, especially coming from Europe and America on those real elite cruise
Yeah,
ships.
yeah,
But
yeah,
on
yeah.
all of the cruise ships, there are so many people who get off and disembark with lack of mobility, lack of
Mm,
endurance, and they've reached a stage in their lives where they can't embrace everything that they have the opportunity to see here. And it's one of
mm.
those things where our accountant thought that we had lost our minds because after we moved north and
Yeah,
started a new, simpler life, we also spent 12 years doing major trips every year.
yeah.
And our accountant just kept thinking, but this is going to affect you in retirement. And my husband's Welsh, so he always just waters everything down. Yeah, but I could get hit by a truck before then.
Exactly. But that is true. Or I could end up not
Mm,
here for, who knows? Who knows
mm,
what is in store? And why not squeeze the juice out of life
mm.
right now and go and enjoy what is calling to you?
And I'm just so thankful that we've done all of these crazy things while we still had all of our mobility, all of our
Yeah.
agility, and a little bit less sensibility. We didn't have as much of that voice saying, is that really a sensible decision?
Okay, so what you're saying is I need to book that that trek to oh no. Do you know my mum and her partner or my stepdad, they have trekked all over the world and their 50s was when they did all of the major trekking. And at the time, because I was, 30 years younger, thinking, what the hell are you doing? But now I look back, because now, high 70s, almost 80, and I think, thank God they did it when they did it because they actually did it in the window that they had window of opportunity as far as like the funds to do it, but also still all of the health. And now, particularly for my stepdad, who has got very limited mobility, that there's no way that he would be able to get out and about. I know that that's like, it's a 30-year difference, but I get what you're
Mm.
saying. So I'm like, okay, now I am moving forward all of the plans that I have. So when was your 30th wedding anniversary? What year of your life was that?
So that was just 5 months ago. So
Okay, so just
55.
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon? What was it about that made you realize that you had lived more than what you were about to?
Part of that was actually, that thing where I said I wasn't listening to the signs, I was waiting till the universe was screaming
Oh
at me.
yes, yes, yes,
Part
yes.
of the universe screaming was giving me a high grade level 4 severe sprain.
Oh.
And once we're menopausal,
Mm-hmm.
postmenopausal, our tendons, once they stretch, they want to stay a little bit stretched. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want to go back to
Mm-hmm.
being supple and agile quite as
Mm-hmm.
quickly. It was a
Mm-hmm.
very long recovery process.
Yeah.
And it was the first time we'd ever had an anniversary where we were in a position of a lot of things that we couldn't do.
Ah, got it.
So I think that probably gave us the
Interesting.
reflection and
Yes, yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. Huh, there you go. See, I have a joint condition where all my joints are like that. So just
Mm.
mine are all floppy. Anyway, I'm interested when you were looking down the barrel at turning 50 and you felt like you were invincible. What what were you feeling about turning 50 for starters, compared to any other significant birthday, whatever you want to call them? Did you feel different going into your 50s versus 40s, say?
I was actually more excited than my 40s.
Yeah, me too.
Like
Literally.
turning 40 was amazing, but there was something about turning 50. 50 has so much more freedom.
Yeah.
And it's just so effing fantastic. And I guess
Mm-hmm.
I had all those hopes of thinking that it would be. And now
Yeah.
here I am halfway through my 50s going, oh, I was so right. It is
Yeah.
absolutely effing fantastic.
Do you reckon that's partly because I don't know where you would have been in your menopause transition there, but did that line up to kind of coming to the end of the perimenopause transition and menopause, or not necessarily?
From a menopause perspective, it actually kind of aligned
Yeah.
with the worst moment of my whole
Oh
menopause
no.
experience.
Oh dear.
It was probably about a month after my 50th
Yeah.
that I thought I was killing it and I was going to be through menopause in a couple
Mm-hmm,
of months.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And after 9 months, I had a sneaky return period with like
Ah,
one last massive, egg. Hello, I'm here.
yes.
And that was actually for me my lowest point and repeated lowest points. Every time I go a few months without a period, another one would come back. I'm like, how am I not just getting through this?
I thought
So
it was done.
even though it was in one of those horrible dips of the perimenopause experience,
Yeah.
it still managed to be one of the best
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
life moments ever as well in the same breath.
Yeah. I'm just interested because I feel I don't know, I've been saying to a friend, I feel like I'm at the pointy end of the perimenopause like um revolution that happens where you put like everything under the microscope and question and made heaps and heaps of big changes, but at the moment now I'm just feeling like these are kind of like I don't know, I described it in another interview as like more like tweaking. It's like increasing my level of like I've never really worried about being comfortable in terms of like just little things like physical comfort. So like at the moment, like when we started to record, I was sweating like a crazy person. Now my feet are icy. If I was worried about my comfort, I would have put my bed socks in here because that's what I would be doing underneath. But little things like that. So I've gone through the big, like huge, like you cannot be in corporate anymore. You cannot have these relationships. You cannot treat yourself like that physically, like all of those big shifts.
Mm.
But now I feel like there's tweaking and I am at the stage where I'm like, okay, will this be the 12 months? I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Mm.
But yeah, I also feel a huge sense of like I turned 50 in January, so we were recording in April of the year before, and I just feel this sense of like um like excitement and anticipation. And I'm like, is this what it feels like to be postmenopausal? That's the story I've been telling myself anyway. So yeah, that's why I was asking, because I'm like, I was very curious about this little journey of
And
ours. Um, I'm quite interested to see what it will feel like to not have the impact of the monthly cycle of hormones kind of playing out. Yeah, most people say that's pretty good.
yeah,
Just
well, it absolutely is.
yeah.
And I'm thinking back, like listening to you, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I think I did have a lot of that positive anticipation for
Yeah.
what was coming. But then for me too, because I'd had that huge flooding event period when I thought it was nearly
Mm.
finished with perimenopause and then had a whole nother 12-month journey, I didn't actually trust it. So like for
Uh-huh.
another 12 to 18 months, if we went away, I still, packed a little
Yep.
kit. And
Yep. Yep.
so
Yep.
I
Yep.
was like, am I sure? Is it really there? Are we really done?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden I'm like, yeah, we really are. So
Yep.
I found for me, my mid 50s is even more liberating than the actual act of turning 50.
You're talking my language, Sandy. It's very exciting. Now you had, and this is what I wanted to really dive into this episode, because you had a fabulous plan for celebrating turning 50. Tell us about that, because I am going to borrow from this. I'm not exactly sure how, because I cannot do exactly what you did. But anyway, what did you do?
Yeah, well, so with me turning 50, the timing was kind of complex in our family unit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mum died about halfway through me being 48.
Yeah.
And our youngest daughter was our grandma's girl. And she was really struggling. We all were. We were all really numb and we were all really struggling, but she was struggling the most. And one of her big sadnesses was, Grandma was so excited about you turning 50. What if we're still
Mm.
hurting then?
Mm.
And it was an interesting perspective. And I don't know, our family, we are sentimental. And it was a very long grief process for us with my mom
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
end. Um, so she was kind of right in the worry, I suppose.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then as my 49th began to roll around, I thought, well, we have so much sadness and grief right now that we have to find a way to make
Mm.
50 a celebration. And it just kind of hit me that I thought, well, what if we celebrate for 50 weeks to turn 50? So we started 2 weeks after my 49th.
So good.
And I think that everybody should do 50 for 50, 60 for
Mm.
60.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Find, those main birthdays and do something special. We had 50 champagnes
Yeah.
in the 50 consecutive weeks leading to my 50th
That's so
birthday
cool.
with 50 incredible people who had made a difference to me on my life journey.
That's so cool. So cool. How did you go kind of back in time, like not just the people that you were connected to, like still very actively, but did you go back? Because when you're saying life journey, like to me,
Mm.
that's like from little to
Mm.
50. So how did you even pick the people?
Yeah, well, I guess I started near
Mm-hmm.
and then I just I charted it out just like when you need clarification in your life and you do a
Yes.
little dream chart, life
Mm-hmm.
chart, did
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And just and I don't know, at the start I was thinking, well, we're probably going to have duplicates or whatever. I wanted it to all be unique. Turned out we didn't have to have duplicates. We could find
Mm-hmm.
the whole unique journey. It just all organically came
So
together.
cool.
And mentors from when I was in my 20s, and
Wow.
I don't it just yeah, everyone from then to now, and it was beautiful.
So good. It's really, I mean, I'm well past when I should have started this, mind you, because I, turned 49 in January. But even when we spoke last year, I was like, yes, because I don't tend to celebrate very much at all. Like I don't, like I'm the type of person that I will, you know, plan something or whatever, and I do the thing and I tick it off and I just move on to the next thing to plan. Like I really am not good at celebrating. And I have started to think, how would I actually like to celebrate, 50 years on this planet? And what does that look like? Does that look like we were talking about before we started recording, like I really would love, and we're planning to do a walking holiday with a friend of mine. Like I want to do, yeah, things that really feed me and not
Yeah.
so much just I don't know, like I probably will still have a party, but I don't feel drawn to do any of the kind of, I don't know, average things. But your celebration speaks to me because I'm just like, it's actually almost a way of saying thank you to the people that made you who you are as well, which I really love. Like it's an honoring as well as a celebration. So yeah,
Uh,
what did you learn through those through the 50? Like, did you have any conversations that surprised you in terms of like the impact you'd made on people, or what were some of the bubbles
well,
in the champagne?
it was probably just from a bigger perspective.
Yeah.
One of my big things in life has always been that happiness finds its way back to you.
Mm,
And the thing that became very
mm,
repetitive and resounding through my 50 for 50
hmm.
was that joy always returns.
Yeah.
It was so joyous,
Hmm.
and every sound of the cork was filled with joy, and
Yeah.
it didn't matter even if it was someone that maybe our lives had come together through sadness or
Hmm.
through through a trauma of some sort. It didn't
Mm.
matter. Joy always returns.
Yeah. Ah, so good. That's the word that I actually think of most when I think of you. Joy, and also your laugh, because you've got a cool, very cool laugh. I love people that laugh with their full being. I can't stand it when people laugh and they're like, You're getting 10%." And I'm like, what's the rest of that? Come on, let it out. Um,
uh,
yeah, I think joy, you're so right. It always returns. And I also, no matter how we're connected to people, yeah, you said before, like you take the time to do those little things to fill you up so that you can show up with the vibe that you would like. And to me, that's like, yeah, all of those things allow you to show up in this place of joy. That's like, it feels to me it's your natural state. I don't know, like, I don't know whether you'd agree with that, but yeah, and this is why it's so important to take care of ourselves and what we need, because then we can, yeah, allow whatever it is that's our gift out. And it may not be, I'm not saying everyone has to be as joyful and
nah.
snazzy sequined hot
Mm.
pant, not hot pant, jumpsuit like you,
Mm.
the last cover that we had. But, whatever it is that you're meant to be doing, you can only do
Mm.
it from a place of fullness. And that is what I think is so, so key. That's the
Uh,
resounding kind of thing that keeps on coming back to me.
mm.
How would you, or what plans have you got for 60? What sort of 60 are you going to do? Have you thought about that yet? Like, how are
Do
you
you
going
know?
to top this?
Well, I'm thinking, oh, it. I don't think that I have it in me for a 60-week project.
You
The
know
50
what?
week one was a big one.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I don't know whether I have the stamina for 50. Like, that's a big commitment, Sandy. I admire your commitment.
60 days, I might be able to. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure something out that
Yeah.
resonates with 60. And I don't know. When I figure it out, I'll let you know as well.
Do you have any mad adventures still that you desire to make, that, like the ones that you were talking about before?
Funny, we were just talking about this.
Mm.
We are so deeply content and so happy with the slow down decisions that we made
Hmm.
15, well, 17 years ago, that yeah, everything's a bonus. Like, I don't know, we often talk about icing, and for us, everything from now forward is icing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when I talk to people in my circle who are really miserable or unhappy or struggling,
Hmm.
my biggest wish is always to get to that point where you have the courage to leave it all away.
Yeah.
That Jimmy Buffett song of "Yesterday's Over My Shoulder."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's just too much to see waiting in front of me. Get to that point and just, you
Mm.
know, I don't know. Somebody was recently kind of, I guess, chatting with me about, oh, well, it must be really easy because, you and Harry bought your house, so of course you can. And I was like, well, no, it's not. It's not even that. Like, you can sell your house. Like, and right now, the way the market is, and the way the market's grown, you're always going to at least break even debt free,
Mm-hmm.
sell your house and start over. Like we can always start over. If you're renting, which, and that was with my friend, if you're renting, don't renew your lease. Start
Yeah.
your plans now. Start a calendar countdown to when your lease ends, and then pack up and do it.
Yes. If not now, when? That's what I keep on coming back to. I mean, I've
Mm,
always felt like that anyway, but I feel like the older I get, the more I'm like, well, you have this desire and you know that the voice of fear is going to try and keep you safe. But you know
mm,
damn well, because I've taken that many leaps now, that I know that no matter how they turn out, I can trust myself, and that, there's either a
yes.
learning or a delicious thing on the other side of it, or a next evolution that you wouldn't have got if you hadn't taken that little leap. And
Mm,
I just think, yeah, I do think, even though I still think I would suck at springboarding, but I am very good at springboarding through life, because I'm just like, if you don't try it on for size, you're never going to know. And you cannot
mm,
ever understand how deeply satisfying it is to actually take a chance and have it lead you to somewhere that you didn't even know you needed to be. Like, how cool is
exactly.
that? So,
That's and I don't know, and you just, I don't know, if it doesn't work out, you just dust your knees off and start again. And
exactly.
I don't know, one of way back, a gajillion lifetimes ago, when
Yeah.
I was a teacher, it
Oh,
didn't matter whether I was lecturing at university or whether I was lecturing with or teaching with teenagers.
yeah.
I always tried to, somewhere close to end of term, have a movie day. And
Mm-hmm.
my movie was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Ah, that was
And
one of my dad's favorites.
oh,
That's cool.
it's magic. And it was one of those funny things because the kids would always, if it was a new, well, university kids were always new.
Yeah.
Like in high school, if no one had tattled, the
Uh-huh.
kids would all be going, "Oh God, what's
Ooh.
she gonna make us watch?" And they were just sure, like I was gonna make them watch some, soppy
Yep.
thing, or it will be Goldberg feel good movie, and it was always
Mm-hmm.
then a Western,
Yeah.
and the boys
What is
especially would just
this?
be all over it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, trust me, we're going to get to the moment and it will be with you the rest of your life. And it was
Mm-hmm.
always at the very end when Butch and Sundance have been chased and they're on the cliff
Yep.
and they're like, well, what are we going to do? Are we going to shoot it out? Oh, well, we'd just die. Oh, well, what are we going to do? Well, look down the cliff. We're going to have to jump. I can't
Yep.
swim. What? I can't
Yep.
swim. You can't swim. And then they grab their gun holster, hold it together, and leap. And like that is the message of
Ah.
life. Like if we don't figure out a way just to leap, whether we think we can swim or not, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna die. So
Yeah.
just do it. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? I often feel like days like today when I'm doing lots of recording for podcasts, I often feel like the way that my guests sort themselves in my calendar and the messages that they deliver, I'm like, I know everyone listening, you're listening to a podcast, but really, I think that there is like key messages that just magically get dropped on me. About the first lady that I interviewed today was talking about that presence and getting quiet and listening to the internal voice. Now you're reiterating the internal voice, but you're adding the leap on top of it. And I'm like, okay, I'm listening. I'm listening. All right, I'm listening. Thank you so much for the reminder. And I think your joy and lighthearted energy around the way that you approach these big things, I know that for people listening, it makes it seem and feel much more accessible, because I think we make the mistake of being like, oh, do the pros and cons list, and like it's got to be hard and it's a big decision, and right. Or we could actually just make big decisions from a place of lightheartedness and joy and just see what happens. Like, like you can do that.
and we can. And the thing is, like, well, the whole reason that I did the Power to Rise Above book
Yes, I
was
want to talk about
because
this too, because that's another change since we spoke last. Yes.
well, I had a young workmate that just thought that I was, happy and radiant because I'd had a life of sunshine and light.
Yep.
And it was when we had a really horrific experience with a vicious, toxic, narcissist manager
Mm.
that my life experience came out. And she was just
Mm.
like, bullshit, you.
Mhm.
And so it's one of those things that, we can find, it doesn't have to be joy. It doesn't have to be, all, but we can find deep contentment and capacity to move forward, and a capacity to move forward without everyone else's rubbish that they've heaped on us, or life circumstances that have been heaped on us.
Mm-hmm.
And we can let any guilt go about any of that pressure, because we can have a pure moment in the now where all that baggage is left behind and we take the good forward.
A pure moment in the now. Man, oh man, this universe is really putting on a show for me today. You're so right. Because a lot of what we hear when we are hearing that whisper of like change needs to happen is
Mm.
all of the reasons why, and often they are to do with, but this is how I was taught to behave, and this is how I was
Mm.
conditioned to do womanhood, and this is bloody bloody
Yeah.
blah. And in the end, it's all just noise, and we can
Mm.
just choose something different
Well,
to see a different perspective.
and we have to choose something different too. Like what it, and all I could hear when you were saying about
Yeah.
all of that conditioning that we've been given, also all the noise that we are given right now
Yes.
from so many commercial pariahs in the menopause space
Oh,
drives me wild. It's as
yeah.
bad as when we were teenagers. So we can't get caught up in a dialogue that, oh, our minnow belly makes us
Oh my God.
unpleasant or unattractive, or that we have to have like a $470 a month package of supplements to get through
Oh,
our
don't
change.
even get me started.
Yeah. So we've got to get back to just what we hear for us, from our
Mm-hmm.
own internal worth of what is good for us.
Yeah.
And we just need to give the big finger to
Yeah.
all the noise and dialogue and the shoulds. Jamie's shoulds,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. F
all
the
around us.
shoulds.
Just kick those things to the curb.
Maybe this episode's going to be called F the shoulds. Got a ring to it then.
Oh, I like that.
I do love it because, yeah, I totally agree. In fact, I am, yeah, at a crossroads in my business where I actually don't want to be talking about menopause specifically because I am so over being part of. It's kind of how I felt about coaching when I left my business last time, because the coaching industry had become full of pariahs. And I was like, I do not want to be associated with this. I don't believe in it. It's a big house of cards waiting to fall in on itself because we've got coaches coaching coaches to coach coaches to coach coaches. And I couldn't. And I feel the same about the menopause space at the moment. I'm just like, we need to
Mm.
stop preying on women who are going through a really powerful, purposeful, and also very vulnerability creating for some
Mm.
point in time of their lives. And we've just gone, oh, we could make some cash out of this. And I know I'm not talking about you or me, but I'm talking about that collective of like, menopause is a
Mm.
buzzword. Now we're going to sell to all the, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, I saw something the other day about something to do with, everyone has to be on HRT, otherwise you'll get wrinkly. And I was just like, for the love of
Uh,
all things holy,
mm.
like, oh, anyway, I won't turn this, I won't turn this into
Uh,
a soapbox episode, but
mm.
I am feeling a very strong aversion to that. And yeah, I'm just like, you know what? I think I might just focus on showcasing real stories, which may or may not be with midlife people, and the storytelling side of my business, because yeah, I just feel like the word menopause has been prostituted already. And I'm like, that happened
Yeah.
really quickly.
It
Like,
has that profiteering, just like, well, when I entered the menopause space, there was no one. So like
mm-mm,
I was like knocking down brick at a
mm,
time, trying to have
you're one of the
conversations about
pioneers.
menopause. I
Yeah.
was called vulgar. I was told that we shouldn't, have conversations about things that
Don't
are
say the
so
word vulgar
personal
or
and intimate. And
vagina.
oh God, it just all of that. And then all of a sudden, somehow it became this, oh, it's going to be $1 billion industry. And everybody jumped on it like prize. It was like everyone just grabbed their teeth into it. And
Mm.
then you had to try to wade through who was genuine and who was profiteering. And then you'd see people that you didn't think were going to
Mm.
profitize
This
menopause
is,
that would and didn't
yep,
have genuine intent. And it just
yep.
was so sad for me, especially I guess when I had so many women that when they discovered Happy Paws, it gave them their groove
Yes.
back. And it was that lovely genuine connection, and it wasn't, I don't
Yeah.
know, wasn't icky. And there's so much ick
Well,
now.
it wasn't icky. It would never have been icky from you because you created a solution to a problem that didn't pathologize the problem.
Yes.
Because this is where we've gone wrong. It's like menopause is somehow wrong and we need to fix it or give people something so they don't go through it. I'm like, oh God, okay.
And that
So
whole
we're missing the
making
point.
people feel less than, it just,
Mm.
I don't know, it rankles me as much as it did as a teen.
Yeah, me too.
Mm.
Me too. I'm like, screw you. Don't tell me what to do. We got off track though. I want to talk
Yes.
about the power to rise above. So you have now authored a book called The Power to Rise Above. Now it's a collection of stories. Am I right? I haven't actually got a copy yet, so I'm going to have to get onto that.
Ah, we need to make that happen.
I
We will make
know.
that
I
happen.
know. I
Um,
just wrote down before.
yeah, so the Paradise Above, it is a collection of 30 authors from all over the world and has a foreword by Oprah's favorite guest of all time, Dr. Tara Trent.
Oh,
That was a pinch me moment. I just was so,
oh. Well, you are
thank you,
besties, so
universe.
hello. Twin lives.
And it started like with a bullying incident in the luxury lodge. And my initial intention was it was just going to be all of us that had experienced the same narcissist bully, and not talking about our experience with her,
Yeah.
but our experiences that had led us to having enough resilience to get through it.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then it kind of grew and grew. I had someone from the Gold Coast say, well, I kind of maybe want to share about my childhood abuse story. Would that fit in, or is it only bullying? And then someone said, I've never told anyone about my attempted suicide in my 20s, and my daughter is that age now. Do you think I could share that in your book? And I'm like, oh, do you think? The answer is hell yes.
Yes, of course.
So it grew and it became this
Wow.
global project, and there's 6 First Nation voices, and all of us, the whole point is that we have shared our stories of overcoming something that seemed
Yes.
unsurmountable,
Yeah. That is
insurmountable,
so
and it
much
was.
better a word. I was going to say insurmountable. That's so cool.
It's just that reminder that deep within we always have that power to rise, and sometimes we think it is extinguished because of what we've experienced, but it's always still there burning. And so it's if anybody is suffering from a workplace experience, or especially if anyone has a teen that's being bullied, or an older primary school child who's being bullied, we've written a lot of stories about our experiences. Mine is about when I was 13 and bullied by a gang of girls for 8 months. So anyone that just needs that little bit of hope and a reminder that we can get through to the other side, come and find me and grab a copy. And if anyone knows someone that's really struggling and doesn't have the physical capacity for the book, just reach out, because we'll make sure a copy gets into their hands.
Thank you, Sandy. I mean, I know the power of sharing stories, both for the person telling the story and the catharsis that holds, but also the healing and the inspiration and the hand down to someone who might be at the base of, the worst point in that story and doesn't necessarily know that it is surmountable. So thank you for the work that you've done bringing that to the world, because far out, we need it at the moment.
Yeah,
we need to understand. Yeah. Where do we find it? Is it, give us the URL and then we'll put it in the show notes as well, but just for people listening that would like to
so find us at thepowertoriseabove.com.au.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so easy peasy. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we re-recorded for episode 2. And thank you for updating your journey since we've spoken to you last time. And again, honoring how I just love that you have such wisdom, but it's delivered with this light touch. It's like a joyful little wisdom bomb every so often. And I'm like, oh, okay. Thank you. You are just a joy to talk to, to be connected to. And thank you so much. I can't wait to see what unfolds.
Yes, watch this space.
Watch this space.
Plenty of stillness, plenty of being and embracing. Which we all need to do more of.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what definitely my recent holiday taught me, that stillness, movement, as in physical movement, and stillness, just being without all that external noise and competition and to-do list, is so important. So important for our health and well-being. So yeah. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. And if you enjoyed this ep, please share it with another midlife friend or take the opportunity to go and rate and review the show on your favorite listening platform. All of these things really help us to reach more women in midlife. Now, I don't know if you know, but I am both a storyteller who helps healers and helpers capture and communicate their work through the magic of storytelling. And I'm a midlife self-care coach who is super passionate about helping other women reframe perimenopause and midlife as a powerful and purposeful time of transformation. To find out more about me and my work, you can head to Instagram at Kylie Patchett or my website kpcreative.com.au, and that is kpkreative.com.au, and you will find all of those links in the show notes. Have a spectacular day, and may you be setting yourself wild and finally fucking free.